All right, Mason. How different you feel a year later, this time last year, compared to where you're at right now?
Shit, really just having that confidence of really just knowing what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that type of feeling. So, it feels a lot better, just to be able to know, the guys I'm going to be working with, having some form of chemistry with everybody already. Still working through the kinks and stuff with the new coaching staff. But overall, I feel a lot more at home, a lot more settled. You know what I'm saying? A lot more just focused on what I know what I have to do to continue to grow.
Do you get that carryover even though it's a new coaching staff?
For sure. Kind of like I said, knowing the unknown. Last year coming in, you don't really know what's going on. You just put here, you know what I'm saying, and you expect it to perform, you expect to go to work. But now, just knowing everything that I have coming forward, I can sort of pace myself, not tire myself out, stuff like that. Just going to the next, the next phase and then to camp and then the season.
I remember last year talking to you toward the end of the season, you said it took you a second to kind of figure out your routine that you needed to do.
For sure.
And then you kind of saw the light come on late in the year. What was that like? And I mean, how can you build off of that going into this season?
Just hurt my ankle really mid of last year. Kind of allowed me to kind of take a break, take a step back and find that routine. Just going through my routine, with a good routine, I performed a lot better. So, that's all I'm thinking about taking it to, next year, just staying with that routine and continuing to stay on that same level and, continuing to grow and with my play and just continuing to thrive.
You think it's ready to take that next step?
This season? I've been working hard, man. I've been in the weight room. And for me, I think that was the biggest concern, just not being as strong as everybody, which is understandable. I'm 22 years old. But just hitting that weight room, man. And like I said, I already got my foot in the ground, whereas knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think it's going to be amazing. I think I'm going to do great.
How much of that was just coming off the injury? Now you're farther from your...
Man, it's always been that, man. Just being able to get back to how I wanted to truly feel, where that is, lower body extremities or just getting my body right, getting back in shape. I feel like I'm in, some of the best shape I've been in, working with Coach Yano. It's a hard coach, but it's what we needed, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to, have somebody, like I said before, just push you. We being pushed right now, so, continue to grow, and not only personally, but as a team, for sure.
Has the scheme changed much for what they're asking you to do?
Not necessarily. I feel like we just able to play a lot more free instead of more laterally. You know what I'm saying? Coaches have told us, from the first time they got here, they want to have more go, more getting off the ball, more penetration. Whereas last year we was kind of playing more on the line of scrimmage. So it's kind of the same technique, but it's just more, go however you see fit kind of thing. If you take a shot, make it. If you miss it, that's on you. But, you know what I'm saying, you got that kind of leeway to, make those plays and, kind of see it as you fit.
Younger coaching staff, is the vibe in the building different at all?
For sure, man. I think everybody in this facility now, has a chip on their shoulder. Because they all, coming in and trying to prove something. Coach Kemp ain't never been a defensive coordinator. So, people got speculations about that. But, he got a chip on his shoulder to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with the offensive coordinator. Same thing with Coach Lamb. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with everybody. Everybody got a chip on the shoulder just to show, how good we can be and the talent we got on the roster. So, it's definitely been a push to, just continue to grow and always take the incline.
I know we talked about you being a fishing guy last year at times. Travis Hunter's a fishing guy. Do you try and tell him some of the places to go fish?
Shit, I ain't really get to talk to him too much. I know BT done taught him a little something. But, man, we definitely got to get out there and swing the poles, man.
All right, appreciate you, Mason, bro. Yeah.